Hi, hello. This is the Secret Lives of Madman, and so I'm from the South. So I'm, that means when you're from the South, you go to church, and you go to church. That means the preachers always say, "Hey, talk to me when I talk." So feel free, everybody, to kind of join in. I really was hoping to have a little bit of a discussion, and for us to kind of like talk about some things. So if you're back there and you can't like see, just come forward. There's a couple places by the water cooler and some crackers. So come on if you need to come closer. I like people to be close to me, so I'm just gonna look at you a lot. So, so before I start, I just really okay. Before I start, can everybody see? All right, I'm trying to adjust myself. Before we start, I just want to ask a question about your day jobs. So, what are some of the day jobs that people have in the room? Anybody? She's a hustler. I like that. All right. What else? What was that? You're a producer. Okay, cool. Probably a lot of producers. Raise your hand if you're a producer. Great. Cool. Great. What else? Come on, don't be shy. Come on. Art director. Okay, this is a lot of advertising things. Copywriter. Great. Creative director. Music producer. Oh, great. Okay. And they're probably a bunch of other things. Are there any non-advertising things here? Just okay. So we're all ad people. Just you. That's my homie. It's my homie. So don't worry about her. So my question is, if I gave you $5 million to pursue any job, what would you choose? Anybody? If I gave you $5 million, what would you choose? Okay. All right. All right. Yep. Yep. You'd be a Netflix analyst. Yep. Okay. Okay. All right. We got a set of comedians today. This is not going to be easy. No one's else. Okay. Everybody just loves advertising that much. Everyone wants to stay in advertising. Is that what it is? Come on, people, answer the question. Somebody. You said start some restaurants. Okay, thank you. All right. So, okay, that's a faulty question by nature. But if I could do any job in the world, and if you could do any job in the world, and I gave you no money to do it, then what would you do then? You do advertising. No, I'm not going to give you anything. There's no incentive. Just like, hey, like you can do anything. If you could do any job in the world, what's your dream job, thing that you want to do?
Just
Travel the world. Travel writer. Okay, cuz traveling the world, I'm not sure you get paid to travel the world, but maybe travel writing makes sense. So we've all got our thing. So most people don't know the answers to those questions, like some of you, or you might be unsure. If you're anything like me, you actually have 10 answers to those questions, to each of those, and that's just the world we live in, and I kind of blame Twitter for that. So my chief hypothesis today is that maybe we shouldn't be spending our time pursuing any of these careers, jobs. Maybe we should be pursuing peace, passion, and happiness. And what if we made our decisions based on those things, the way that we move from place to place based on those things instead of the jobs that take us around the world? That looks like an old friend. What was that? You like that? Okay. You're participating. I appreciate it. So first of all, my name is Shabazz, and today I want to talk to you guys about quitting. And so I've titled my presentation, How to Quit Your Day Job in 10 or 12 Easily to be Mistaken as Easy Steps. It might seem easy, but it's not. So, it's too fast. But before we get to those steps, let me tell you just a little bit about me. So just in case you were thinking I was a complete whack job, you should know that I am absolutely a complete whack job. But also you can see that there's my information. My mom didn't tell me that she loved me enough when I was a kid, so I like people to like me on Instagram. So you can find me at Zion Shabazz. I actually just started a new music page called Larkin versus Larkin, because I just started making music and stuff like that, and so you guys should follow those things if you're interested. The thing is, I'm a whack job, but I'm also a happy whack job. And that is the thing that I want to talk about some more. So I'm also no one special. So I'm not completely sure why Stephanie invited me to come talk to you guys today. Yeah, okay. Well, I'm a great PowerPoint maker, though. So I've led a mediocre career in advertising for the last decade. My last job, I was the executive creative director for Puff Daddy and Bad Boy and his stuff, which sounds like the most glamorous job in the world, but wasn't. I have only won one award that I'm proud of, and I didn't even know that I won that award until 2 years later. I'm an artist and musician that no one has heard of. Like I said before, I just started a page today. It's got 25 followers. So if everybody in this room liked my page, then that would double that. But the thing is, hey, I'm happy. And that actually is a big change for what most of us think as the American dream. I think that there's a lot of set of rules to like what this American dream looks like, and we were talking. Me and the other speaker was talking. Others talking about advertising and how sometimes it's a very grueling job, and sometimes what you get from it doesn't always make you happy. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it doesn't. So I want to talk about that. So, but before I do, as I do, while I do, I don't know whatever word I can put in there. I've illustrated 2 books that I want to talk about, and one that I wrote and one that I did not write. The one that I did write is doing, as my publisher likes to say, is still looking for its audience. And then the one that I did not write is doing amazing. In fact, George Bush, the cool one, he has a reading foundation, and he wanted to break the Guinness Book of World Records for the read aloud books, and they picked my first book, Farmer Will Allen and The Growing Table, to break the Guinness Book of World Record for reading, and it was kind of amazing to be a part of that. Farmer Will Allen is a book about a real guy in the middle of Milwaukee who started a farm in the middle of the city, he's a big, huge, tall black man that everyone loves, and people from literally all over the world, like not an exaggeration. There's a growing power farm in London and all over the world. And such a really cool project to be a part of, and we never see children's book stories about big black men, so it was awesome to do that. But also my other book, Amuse Bouche, which Stephanie asked me to come talk about today. Here it is right here in the flesh. You're raffling them? Okay, all right. I gotta prepare myself for that. So this was a really fun book for me. It started long before the idea to make this book at all, and this is going to be relevant, I promise, to what I said I was going to talk about. But I had the habit of vandalizing photo books because when I worked in advertising, and I'd get a lot of photo books across my desk, and as many of you probably also get. Sorry if you're the one making the photo books, but what would happen is I get these photo books and I just vandalize them. And what was interesting is that people were more curious about the vandalisms that I made in these photo books than my actual work. And so I started to get really serious about these vandalisms. So I get books like this. This is from a photographer, Rankin. I got this book and I had started vandalizing this book. And it was just for fun at first, but then I started to take it very seriously, and because it's like a book that's that thick, and I kind of went through all those, and it became like oh gosh, it became like an art project. So I started taking on, after that, I thought that was cool, but, that didn't feed my passion enough. So I started going out in the streets, and I took my little camera and I started taking pictures of people on the streets, and I started vandalizing my own photography, and this kind of became an obsession of mine. I started a blog, and I would share those things. And then, Cassie actually asked me to vandalize one of her music videos, and so that's where that comes from. I also had this weird thing when I moved to New York. I'd go to all these parties, and I'd meet these people, like two of these girls that are here today, that I was like, man, they're so cool. I want to know them. I want them to know me. But, I'm so, socially awkward, so I don't know what to do. So I wrote these poems, and so at the beginning of my dinner parties and going out with friends, I would have these poems, and I'd say, hey, guys, before we start the day, I just want to read a poem. Is that cool? And it's just gonna, whatever. You don't, okay, here it goes. And I would read them, and they would make dinner so special. And so those two things were kind of like the precursors for what came from this book. I read that in advance. So yeah, I'd go to friends' houses, and then so then one day when my publisher asked me, hey, do you have an idea for a book? I said, of course, yeah. So I pitched him this idea called Amuse Bouche, which is essentially just a collection of poems about food. And this is really for children, but adults love it because the illustration style is kind of cool. Now, the crazy thing is, before I kind of move on, I should tell you about my publisher. My publisher is called Readers to Eaters, and they produce books about food. And so all of their books is kind of like helping with what we call food literacy. And so all of their books kind of do that. And so he asked me, hey, do you have a book to do? So I pitched him this idea. I've been doing these illustrations. I've been reading these poems, and maybe we do that for kids, blah, blah, blah. And he said, oh, I love it. So we did this. The thing is, I don't know anything about food. I just know how to eat it. But the interesting bit is that makes me a lot more of a professional on food than you might think. Because as it turns out, people don't eat dinner together anymore. And this is something that advertising people know well. 80% of meals are eaten alone. I also learned that just talking about food alone can make you more conscious and more healthier person. So I wrote a book that has one goal: to make dinner time special again, and that's what Amuse Bouche is. There's a lot of facts that talk about, hey, kids that eat food with their parents, they live healthier lives, they deal with less depression, and they hold off on drugs much longer, which is a good thing. And so the book is a collection of poems to be read at dinner time to kind of make it special again. When I was a kid, we always said grace together because we're, a church family or whatever. Actually not, but, that's what we did. Most people don't have that practice anymore, but so this was kind of like a way to make dinner special still. And so this is kind of a trailer that I made it's a little film that I made to kind of, it's going to be a trailer for the book, and I'm just going to kind of play it for you now. A desk is not a dinner table. You can eat dinner at a round table or a square table, an oblong table or a pear-shaped table, but a desk is not a dinner table. You can eat dinner at the beach or eat it on a boat. Eat it in a bikini or eat it in a coat. Eat it upstairs, eat it outside, eat it feeling fat or feeling thinner, but a desk, no. A desk is not a place for dinner. Call it food and face, call it stuffing belly, call it the internet with toast and jelly. Dinner at a desk needs a relabel because a desk will never be a dinner table. A desk is not a dinner table. A poem from the book, Amuse Bouche, a few choice words about food. So I found a bunch of those photos from there's a blog called Sad Desk Lunch. I don't know if you've seen it. And so I read them up and I said, these photos are perfect for this. And I asked them if I could use them. And, she graciously let me use this picture. So you might have seen your own desk lunch in there if you sent that in ever. This is unfortunately the plight of like all advertising people. So I know that everybody in the room can relate. So I'm going to kind of skip past the credits there. So thank you. Oh, thank you. There's clapping involved. Okay, but it wouldn't be fair if I have a poetry book and I just kind of show a video of my poem. So I'm going to read you my favorite poem from the book. The book is called Ruby Lou Drooped When She Pooped. Supper was great, and Ruby Lou ate, and I mean ate. Turkey, cranberry, greens, rice, biscuits with gravy, tea with ice, peas and ham, and her favorite, carrot cake. Who can eat all that goodness for goodness sake? Ruby Lou could, or at least she'd try. Somehow her stomach was smaller than her eyes. Yes, her stomach was smaller than her eyes. Oh no, her stomach was smaller than her eyes. She ate and ate and ate and ate until her tummy started to roar. Run! It roared, run! So she ran to the bathroom and slammed the door. I ate and ate and ate and ate. I ate too much goodness for goodness sake. And now my belly roars with ache before I got my carrot cake. She didn't cry, but she felt sort of duped. And that's why Ruby Lou drooped when she pooped. I have a 7-month-old son at home, so I got good practice. There's other poems in there, and this will be the last one I read. But there's other poems in there, like the philosophy of like GMOs, introducing GMOs to children. And this one's called Lab Coat Corn. It says, "It looks like corn. It feels like corn. It smells like corn. It even tastes like corn. You can butter it like corn. You can bake it in pot pie. You can fry it till it pops or add it to stir fry. But even if it looks like corn and it feels like corn, if the corn is born in a lab instead of on cropland and raised by lab coats instead of farm hands, is it corn at all?" Deep thought. And so I'll play this as one more video.
Excuse me, miss. Have you seen my beans? I think I lost them in the subway. I used to hate the little things until I learned to give them energy. They make me toot and poop and beep. I toot so hard I fly out my seat. Pardon me, miss. I really need some help. My beans wouldn't just run away by themselves. So if you hear a toot or peep or poop or bonk or wonk or whack or pop or crackle or zap or snap or bap or zing, will you please, oh please, just give me a ring? I think I lost them in the subway.
So that's another silly video. They're silly. So many of you might be saying, that book is awesome and I want to make a book. Nobody. Well, thank you for those who are thinking it. But really, most of you were probably saying that book sucks and I can do better. But that's the advertising people say. But both answers are perfect. It's fine. Or maybe some of you have some other thing that you want to do that you aren't currently doing. Well, lucky for you, my presentation is titled "How to Quit Your Day Job in 10 or 12 Easy to Be Mistaken as Easy Steps." The first thing is you have to quit your day job. I just kind of like want everybody together in unison to just say, I quit. Let's just give it a try. On 3, let's give it a 1, 2, 3. Does it feel good? Does it feel good? Let's try it again. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Now we're getting into it. We're getting into it now. You might not be. The thing is, do you feel any differently? Maybe. Does anything really change? Probably not. The thing is that quitting your day job starts before you actually kind of throw up the royal bird and walk out. Quitting your day job actually starts with your mentality, because having a day job is a mentality, and so I think that. The day job mentality is the idea that you are doing this thing until you can do this other thing. Most people in the world have this idea, and for the most part, it's a great idea. The only problem is that most people never actually do the other thing. And so that's sad. And luckily, we're inundated with people around us and in this room that have actually quit their day job and started something else as well. The second thing that you got to know, obviously, if you quit your job, you have to find a job. And that means find your entrepreneurship. And so what happens is people think because I work for a boss, that means I do all the things that the boss says. But actually, if we find your entrepreneurship, you find your moments of entrepreneurship wherever you are, whether you're at a job or not, you start to change the day job mentality and put yourself in a position that's much greater than you were before. And you start to kind of set yourself up for quitting your job for real. So whether you want to do a startup, write a book, or fix a problem at your workplace, you can be an entrepreneur too. Entrepreneurs are just people that make something from nothing. And so the people that make something from nothing at the places that we work are the most valuable people. Just clap, thanks. Clap. So the step 3. I just wanted to say that I'm not sure that I believe in the weekend warrior. I think that we all at one point says, I'm going to be a weekend warrior. I'm going to do it on the weekend. But I think that that's a little bit of a waste of your time, because what happens is your passion, the thing that you love to do more than anything else, plays second fiddle to the thing that you really want to do. And so not everybody can quit their day job. Not everybody can just go and just do their own thing. But building steps to make your passion and your fun project your main project is going to be a lot more fruitful. Step 4, trust yourself. You're scared. I was too, but you're more prepared than you think. I wanted to do something else. I had no idea. I had 10 ideas of the things that I wanted to do. I didn't even realize that the experiences that I had prepared me much more than any school could have to go and do something else. When I started that book, and I showed you the example of the book when I took that very seriously about illustrating and vandalizing this book, because that was an exercise in entrepreneurship and me starting to quit my day job before I even left my job. Harahachibu. This is an old Japanese principle about eating until you're 80% full. If there's anybody here that speaks Japanese, I'm sorry if I'm saying it wrong. But the principle is all about letting you know 80% is all that you need. And so we think, I got to have the full plan. I got to know everything that we got to do. But once you get to 80%, once you have 80% there, that's all that you need, and the rest will come. One of the things that's super helpful to me before I quit my job was my Plan C. Now, Plan C is called Plan Couch, right? Which is essentially like, how poor can you actually be before you have to live on the street and beg for money like that guy? and I think that just visualizing that, like for me, I knew that, hey, I called up my mom and I said, Mom, I'm thinking about quitting my job to go be an artist. Can I come live on your couch with my wife? And she said yes. And the truth is, I knew that, hey, look, this was my worst case scenario. My worst case scenario is I fall flat on my face and I have to go live on my mom or dad's couch. And that's not that bad. That gave me encouragement and said, okay, fine, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go and quit my job now. The alternative is a lot scarier than this, being old and alone and not have even tried to pursue the thing that you love and have passion for. Now, the next thing is you have to quit your actual job. Okay. That's it. The other thing is, hey, just some real practical things. Freelance is awesome. You should freelance. You make a lot more money. If you want to know about freelance and how to freelance, do the math. There's a little math required. See how much money you make now. Break it down by the day and the hour, and then double it times 2, and that is what you charge people to freelance. It's very simple, and that's how you don't get the lights turned off in your house. The other thing is, Stephanie told me to talk about this, is that you're the boss now. The hardest thing about being a freelancer is that you don't have a boss. I mean, when you're your own boss, you're literally your own boss. And so every morning I wake up and I write 24 hours on a piece of paper, and I plan out my day hour by hour, everything I'm gonna do, and I'm accountable for that because that becomes my boss that I have to follow and listen to. That was some very practical advice that has been super helpful for productivity and not falling into the depths of Netflix. The next thing is when you quit your day job, become a genius. Go to things like this and meet cool people. I just met the coolest musician in all of the West Side today. What is it? Where are we at? I don't even know. Is it Soho? I just met the coolest. This guy Mari. Is it Mari? This guy this guy is like, just go back to his studio and listen to his music. The dude is about to, and only because he just kind of walked back to his thing. You meet people all the time by just coming out and meeting people. We hear this all the time, but it's the truth. We embrace our failure. Don't be afraid to fail. I mean, we're all, we've all got our health relatively. We're all, young and dumb, and it's cool. We're going to be okay. But we can have courage to go out and do what we want to do, embrace failure. In essence, if you enjoy being happy, then passions are greater than your jobs. And that's what I have been trying to live my life as, and it's been very interesting. And do me a favor and follow me, because my mom didn't say she liked me enough as a child. And thank you very much.